Standing here right now, I can almost hear the sound of a basketball bouncing on an empty gym floor. I can smell the hardwood, feel the weight of exhaustion in my legs, see that faint flicker of light before sunrise when the rest of the world was still asleep. That's where it all started. Greatness doesn't begin when the world is watching. It starts when nobody is there. With no crowd, no cameras, no applause, just you, your dreams, and the work that needs to be done. For me, that journey started in an empty gym. I can still hear the sound of the ball bouncing, the echo of my shoes squeaking on the hardwood. I remember the cold air in the mornings, the feeling of exhaustion settling in my legs, and the endless cycle of shot after shot after shot. People see the championships, the accolades, the records, but they don't see the 4 a.m. workouts. They don't see the missed holidays, the nights spent icing my knees, the hours spent breaking down game film while everyone else was asleep. That's where the real battle was fought. That's where greatness was built. I wasn't born with a championship ring on my finger. I wasn't handed 5 NBA titles. Everything I achieved, I earned through sacrifice. People say they want to be great, but do they really? Do they want it bad enough to suffer for it? To give up sleep, comfort, distractions, to work when nobody's forcing them to? I made a decision early on that I would never be outworked. If my opponents were in the gym for 2 hours, I'd be there for 5. If they took 500 shots, I'd take 1,000, because I understood something most people never realize. You don't wait for greatness, you chase it. That's the difference between those who dream and those who do. The dark hours before the sun rises, before the cameras turn on, those hours define you. That's when the real work happens. That's when you separate yourself. Most people quit when it gets hard. Most people slow down when they're tired. I didn't. I pushed through because I knew the truth. Pain is temporary, regret lasts forever. I made a promise to myself, a contract that couldn't be broken. Give everything or give nothing at all. If I wasn't willing to suffer for my dreams, I didn't deserve them. So when I stand here today in front of you in the Hall of Fame, it's not because of the championships, it's not because of the records, it's because at 4 a.m., when nobody was watching, I chose to put in the work. And that made all the difference. People love to talk about talent. They love to say he's gifted. But let me tell you something. Talent without obsession is wasted potential. I wasn't the tallest. I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't the most athletic player on the court. But there was one thing I had that nobody could take from me, an unstoppable, relentless obsession with being the best. Obsession is different from passion. Passion is something you love. Obsession is something that consumes you. Passion makes you excited. Obsession makes you insane. And I was obsessed. Every single day I woke up asking myself, how much better can I be? I wasn't competing with other players. I was competing with my own limits, with the version of myself from yesterday. And every single day I had one goal, be better than I was before. That's what Mamba mentality is. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about commitment. It's about pushing yourself further than anyone thinks is possible. It's about doing the work when nobody else is willing to. You see, most players are satisfied with being great. They reach a level of success and they slow down, they relax. But I never did, because I understood that the moment you stop growing, you start dying. That's why I studied the game obsessively. That's why I broke down film for hours. That's why I perfected my footwork, my shot, my defense, because every single inch mattered, every single detail counted. And let me tell you something, obsession is lonely. It means sacrificing sleep. It means missing out on things that other people enjoy. It means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. But in return, it gives you something rare, mastery. You don't get to be great by accident. You get there by choosing to suffer for it. There were nights when my body was screaming in pain, but my mind wouldn't let me stop. There were times when I could have rested, could have slowed down, but I didn't. because I knew that somewhere, someone out there was working, and I refused to let them outwork me. People always ask me, Kobe, what's your secret? There is no secret. It's work. It's the willingness to push yourself further than you think you can go. It's waking up every morning and deciding, I will be better today. It's holding yourself to a standard so high that most people think you're crazy. But that's why I'm here. That's why I played 20 years. That's why I never backed down from a challenge. Because I wasn't just playing basketball, I was proving a point. People see the rings, they see the trophies. What they don't see are the battles, the wars, the moments that tested me, pushed me, and forced me to become better. Every great player faces adversity. Every great competitor meets an opponent who challenges them in ways they never expected. For me, those battles weren't just obstacles, they were my teachers. I remember my rookie year stepping onto the court against Michael Jordan. He didn't take it easy on me. He tested me, pushed me, talked trash every chance he got, but I didn't back down. I studied him, I learned from him, I took every lesson he gave me, whether it was through a fadeaway jumper over my outstretched hand or a defensive stop that shut me down. And the next time I faced him, I was better. The same thing happened with AI. Allen Iverson dropped 41 on me in our first matchup. I sat in the locker room after that game replaying every move in my head over and over again. I didn't sulk. I didn't make excuses. I went back to work. I studied his footwork, his crossover, his timing. The next time we played, I shut him down because that's what real competitors do. We adapt, we evolve, we refuse to lose the same way twice. Then there were the battles that went beyond the court, the injuries, the critics, the nights when my body was screaming for rest, but my mind told me to keep pushing. The Achilles tear in 2013, most people thought that was the end. But in that moment, I had a choice. Stay down or stand up. I chose to stand. I walked to the free throw line, knocked down both shots. And in my mind, I was already planning my comeback. That's what battle does. It reveals who you really are. It shows whether you're willing to suffer, to fight, to rise up when everything is against you. Every challenge made me stronger. Every loss made me hungrier. Every moment of doubt fueled the fire inside me. Because the truth is, you don't get better in victory, you get better in the struggle. So when people ask me what shaped my career, I don't just think about the wins, I think about the wars. The nights I lost sleep replaying a game in my head, the times I was doubled, tripled, pushed to my limits. Those moments didn't break me. They made me, what's the point of greatness if it dies with you? I've always believed that success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you leave behind. I didn't just want to win championships, I wanted to change the game. I wanted to inspire the next generation to push themselves beyond their limits, to dream bigger, to work harder, to understand that greatness isn't given, it's earned. That's why I studied every detail, every nuance of the game. That's why I passed down everything I learned, whether it was to my teammates, to the next wave of NBA stars, or to my daughters, because the greatest gift you can give isn't a trophy, it's knowledge. Gianna understood that. She had that same fire, that same love for the game. She wanted to be great, not because she was my daughter, but because she had a passion of her own. That's what drove me to teach her, to guide her, to show her what Mamba mentality truly meant. And that's why I built the Mamba Academy, because this mentality, this work ethic, this obsession isn't just for me, it's for anyone willing to chase. It's for the kids waking up at 5 a.m. to put in work. It's for the underdogs, the doubters, the ones who refuse to accept anything less than their best. Legacy isn't just about stats, it's about impact. It's about changing the way people think, the way they work, the way they believe in themselves. That's why I push myself every single day. That's why I never took a game off. That's why I played through pain, through doubt, through exhaustion, because I knew that somewhere, some kid was watching. And if they saw me push through, if they saw me outwork everyone, if they saw me refuse to make excuses, maybe just maybe they do the same. So when I say Mamba out, it doesn't mean the story's over. It means the next generation is ready to carry the fire forward. Most people are afraid of failure. They avoid it, fear it, and let it define them. But let me tell you something, failure is a weapon. If you use it right, it will sharpen you, harden you, and push you to levels you never thought possible. People love to talk about the championships, but they forget about the times I failed, the air balls I shot in the playoffs as a rookie, the Game 7 losses, the heartbreaks, the moments when everything I worked for slipped through my hands. But I never ran from those moments. I studied them. I replayed them in my mind over and over again, not to dwell on them, but to learn from them, to make sure they never happen again. Every time I failed, I came back stronger. Every time I fell, I stood back up with more fire than before. See, failure isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. It's a test. It's the moment where you decide, do you give up or do you get better? Most people break under failure. They let it crush them. But the great ones, they let it forge them. After I shot those air balls in Utah during the 1,997 playoffs, I didn't hide. I didn't make excuses. I went straight to the gym. I broke down every detail. Why was I short on those shots? What happened to my legs in the fourth quarter? How do I prepare better so this never happens again? And that's how I approached failure my entire career. I didn't fear it. I embraced it. And that's why I tell people, never be afraid to fail. If you missed a game-winning shot, take the next one. If you fall short today, show up tomorrow. Keep coming, keep working, keep fighting, because the only real failure is quitting. Everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants the rings, the trophies, the glory, but very few are willing to pay the price. See, greatness comes with a cost, and that cost is everything. I gave up sleep. I gave up comfort. I gave up parties, vacations, normal life, because my dream demanded it. While other players were out celebrating, I was in the gym. While they were resting, I was working. Most people aren't willing to do that. They want greatness to be easy, but easy and greatness don't belong in the same sentence. I had a choice every single day. Do I do what's comfortable or do I do what's necessary? And I chose the hard path. Every time, sacrifice isn't just about what you give up. It's about what you gain in return. I sacrificed my time, my energy, my body. But what did I get back? 5 championships, a career that lasted 20 years, a legacy that will live forever. The truth is, if you're not willing to suffer for your dreams, you don't deserve them. I missed birthdays, I missed holidays, I missed moments with family, and those sacrifices hurt. But when I stepped on that court, I knew this is what I was built for. Sacrifice is the separator. It's what divides the good from the great. And if you're not willing to go all in, don't expect to win. Because in the end, the ones who sacrifice the most are the ones who achieve the most. Every journey comes to an end. Every player eventually walks off the court for the last time. But the real question is, what do you leave behind? When I retired, I didn't want my legacy to just be about basketball. I didn't want people to just remember the championships. I wanted them to remember the mentality, the work ethic, the drive, the obsession, because that's what lives on. See, the game will go on without me, but the Mamba mentality, that never dies. That's passed down from generation to generation. It's in the kids waking up at 4 a.m. to chase their dreams. It's in the underdogs who refuse to quit. It's in every competitor who looks in the mirror and says, I will not be outworked. That's why I dedicated myself to teaching after my playing days were over, to writing books, mentoring young athletes, building the Mamba Academy, because I knew if I could inspire one kid to push harder, dream bigger, and believe in themselves just a little more, then my job wasn't done. My daughter Gianna understood that. She had that fire, that same love for the game, and I know, without a doubt, she would have carried the Mamba mentality forward in ways the world wasn't even ready for. But legacies don't belong to one person, they belong to the ones who carry them forward. So when I said Mamba out, I mean the story was over. I meant the torch was being passed. People will always have something to say. They'll doubt you, criticize you, tell you what you can and can't do. But here's the truth. Their opinions don't matter. What matters is the work. What matters is what you do when nobody's watching, when the cameras are off, when it's just you and your craft. Too many people spend their time chasing approval, trying to fit in, trying to make others happy. But I never cared about being liked. I cared about being the best. If that meant people thought I was too intense, too serious, too obsessed, then so be it, because in the end, your success won't come from their opinions. It'll come from your obsession. Every great competitor, from Jordan to Brady to Serena, had people who doubted them, criticized them, tried to bring them down, but none of that mattered because they didn't work for applause, they worked for mastery. Doubts. That's what I did my whole career. I didn't play for approval, I played for legacy. I played to push the game forward, to push myself beyond every limit, to become something greater than anyone expected. That's the Mamba mentality. It's shutting out the noise, putting your head down and going to work. Because in the end, the doubters will talk, the critics will write, but when the game is over, only the work remains. Most people run from pain. They avoid discomfort. They see struggle as something to be feared. But let me tell you something, pain is a privilege. Pain means you're growing. Pain means you're pushing past your limits. Pain means you're doing something most people aren't willing to do. My whole career was built on pain. The pain of failure, the pain of losing, the pain of injuries, the pain of exhaustion. But I never saw pain as an enemy. I saw it as my greatest teacher. When I tore my Achilles, I didn't cry about it. I stood up, walked to the free throw line, and knocked down both shots, because that's what pain demands. You either break or you rise. And I always chose to rise. I embraced the suffering. I welcomed the hard days, the brutal practices, the sleepless nights, because I knew the truth. The pain is temporary, but the greatness lasts forever. If you're going through a struggle right now, if life is testing you, if you feel like the pain is too much, good. That means you're on the right path. That means you're becoming something greater. Embrace it, lean into it, let it sharpen you. Because in the end, the ones who endure the most pain are the ones who achieve the most glory. The moment you think you've made it, you've already lost. That's the truth. Greatness isn't about reaching the top, it's about staying there. It's about understanding that no matter how good you are today, there's always another level to reach. I never let myself get comfortable. After my first championship, I didn't celebrate for long, I got back in the gym. After my 5th championship, I wasn't satisfied. I was thinking about my 6th, because the second you settle, the second you stop pushing, the second you think you've arrived, that's when you start to fall. Most people are satisfied with being good. Some push themselves to be great. But the truly legendary, they never stop climbing. That's what separated me. I never allowed myself to believe I was done. Even after 20 years in the league, even after 81 points in the game, even after the championships and MVPs, I was still looking for ways to improve, because that's what the Mamba mentality is all about. It's about refusing to settle, refusing to slow down, refusing to let comfort take away your edge. There's always more to learn. There's always another level to reach. And the great ones, they chase that level until the very end. Fear is natural, fear is real, but the difference between champions and everybody else, champions don't run from fear. They use it. See, most people let fear control them. They let it paralyze them, stop them from taking the shots, stop them from chasing their dreams, stop them from becoming who they were meant to be. But I learned early on, fear isn't the enemy. Fear is fuel. It's your body telling you something important is about to happen. It's your mind sharpening itself for battle. Fear is energy, and energy can either destroy you or drive you. I made a decision I was going to use my fear to make me better. When I was young, I feared not being good enough, so I worked harder than everybody else. When I missed big shots, I feared letting my team down, so I studied every angle, every detail, every weakness until I knew I wouldn't fail again. Fear kept me in the gym at 4 a.m. Fear made me study the game like a scientist. Fear made me obsessed with improvement. Most people see fear as a wall, something that blocks them from their goals. But the great ones, they see fear as a doorway. They walk through it. They push past it. They welcome it. Fear is proof that you're chasing something meaningful, something that matters. So the next time fear shows up, don't back down, smile at it, use it. Let it push you to become greater than you ever imagined. People love to talk about talent, about natural ability. They say Kobe was born to be great, but let me tell you the truth. Greatness isn't given, it's earned. It's a decision you make every single day. See, I wasn't the most athletic guy in the league. I wasn't the tallest. I wasn't the strongest, but what separated me was my mentality. I decided every single day that I was going to outwork everybody, that I was going to push harder, study more, suffer longer, and sacrifice more than anyone else. That's what made me who I was. The work, the relentless, obsessive, nonstop commitment to improvement. People think greatness is about luck, about talent, about some magic gift. It's not. It's a choice to wake up early, a choice to put in the extra reps, a choice to study the game when others are partying, a choice to give up comfort in exchange for greatness. I made that choice every day for 20 years. And if you want to be great, you have to make that choice too. No excuses, no shortcuts, no waiting for somebody to hand it to you. Greatness belongs to the ones who are willing to suffer for it. So ask yourself, are you ready to pay the price? Because if you are, there's nothing stopping you from being legendary. At the end of the day, it's not about how many points you scored, how many championships you won, or how many records you broke. It's about the impact you made, the lives you touched, the mentality you left behind. The Mamba mentality is not about basketball, it's about life. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, pushing past pain, embracing the struggle, and never backing down from a challenge. It's about inspiring the next generation to believe in themselves, to chase greatness with everything they have, and to understand that success isn't given, it's earned. So when you step out into the world, when you face adversity, when doubt creeps in, remember this: the fire inside you is greater than any obstacle in front of you. Work, grind, sacrifice. And when your moment comes, when your legacy is written, make sure the world knows Mamba never backed down, Mamba never quit, Mamba never settled, and neither will you. Mamba out.